We live in a time when at the click of a mouse, goods can be transported, contracts can be renegotiated, and information can be shared and reshared across the globe. With consumers, journalists, and governments constantly scrutinizing the quality of a product, producers are continually evolving and improving their products and services. All of this is good for business, of course. The better the product, the better the review, and the better the sales. But increasingly, a good product isn't good enough. In an age of seamless information flow, how you produce your product matters as much as the product itself. Human rights abuse in a company's operations gravely impacts brand reputation, erodes consumer trust, and leads to a massive downturn in investment. Respecting human rights, including labor rights, is a core principle of modern business. It's time to do more to ensure human rights are respected in operations and across supply chains. Endorsed by the UN Human Rights Council in 2011, the UN Guiding Principles on Business and Human Rights, or the UNGPs, provides guidance to business on how they can demonstrate respect for human rights. For example, the UNGPs provide that business should make a public commitment to human rights that notifies customers and employers that the business takes its human rights impacts seriously, and provide remedies to those impacted adversely by business activities, and regularly conduct human rights due diligence to prevent human rights abuses from happening in the first place. So, human rights due diligence is a proactive process of preventing, mitigating, and addressing human rights risks posed by businesses to their stakeholders, and is key to creating a sustainable, non-discriminatory business model free of abuse. Human rights due diligence requires that business identifies actual human rights risks that the business may pose to stakeholders, act upon findings by delegating responsibilities across units to prevent abuse, track the effectiveness of their efforts, and account for any achievements and shortcomings of their efforts. Human rights due diligence needs to be ever evolving because impacts and risks change over time. And remember, unlike other due diligence work, human rights due diligence focuses on the risk to people, not risks to the business. For businesses to function sustainably and integrate human rights protection into their organizational culture, they also need to promote this ethos through their supply chain. Suppliers and subcontractors across the production line need to be aware of their responsibility and work to respect human rights too. An effective way to ensure business processes are working is by enhancing transparency. And this might involve creating grievance mechanisms that are accessible to both employees and stakeholders. Thus, effective measures to address problems as well as creating open communication channels internally and externally will go a long way towards creating a safe and sustainable operational environment where human rights are respected. Creating and cultivating a culture that respects human rights is a huge asset to a brand's image, excites investors, and creates trust in the business itself. Today, good business is about being a sustainable business, one that increases profits, but also reduces risks to human rights of everyone involved, its workforce, local communities, consumers, and promotes environmental sustainability, enabling outcomes that benefit everyone.